I just think this has been a learning for me is that, I mean, people say like scale and they say all these different things. Like lots of people just say like cost of advertising, acquiring customer and stuff like that. But like that's all, I don't think people are ever going to not say that, right? But you don't just get customers as lots of customers for as cheap as you want. This doesn't really happen. Um, but to be honest, when I look at the bigger businesses, I think there's just a lot of energy, a lot of people are very busy, and a lot of that doesn't necessarily end up affecting the consumer or the product or the market in any real way. So I just think as it's just so important to keep the energy and the focus around like producing an outcome that actually makes a difference within the business. And like a good way to think is like, how does this affect the customer? How does this affect the market? How does this affect like the outcome that we actually generate? Because just it seems as businesses get bigger, it's very easy to be very busy doing a whole heap of things that I don't want to say don't add any value, but potentially don't
Mm.
add any value.
Do you find that a lot of that, well, I've found a lot of that starts at the top and it creates a spiral? Like a CEO or a leader will say something offhand, and then all of a sudden it creates a whole series of work that maybe isn't what they actually meant. But
Yeah, I think it's probably easier when you're a smaller brand and everyone in the business is there for something that's functional. It sort
yeah,
of keeps it in alignment. But then as you grow and and like this just happens with a lot of businesses you talk to, like there's more management, there's more layers,
mm,
and things have got to go down and they've got to go across.
cross.
It gets harder to keep
Yeah, yeah,
everyone in
yeah.
alignment. And then a lot of that comes down to if you can have if the job can be getting that outcome and you can keep it as close to the functions and almost like management is a function, but it doesn't really affect the end, like what comes out the other end, right? But if you can keep everyone as close to their functions and their output,
Mm,
and then they're in alignment that, okay, we do this because we're trying to do this thing and we're going to get there. But a good example is like just the example we use for the 5 gates. Like you go
yeah,
through that and you realize, oh, the whole business has got to work together to achieve that. But the thing is, the person potentially in one of those roles, in some part of the business, may not even understand that what they're doing is going to help reduce, like sell more. They
yep,
may not even understand that. So if you can
yep.
make that clear, I think then it makes it's easier to um,
Love that. I
align on
love
those
that.
things. I mean, I wouldn't say it's easier, but you've got a
No.
chance. Yeah.
How do we align people's roles, not with managing the outcome, but actually creating the outcome?
Yes. Creating. Yeah. And they're not going through the motions. They're questioning. And at the same time, um, it's been somewhat explained and understood why this is important and how this affects, you know, you know, the product, the business, the market, the consumer, the customer, all these things. Because there's some jobs where that's easy and there's some jobs where that is harder, but just more
Mm.
work has to be done to try and understand that.